Because that science is man-made. And if it doesn't line up with the Bible, then it's discarded.
Ooh. That is hard.
Isn't that hard? Well, this nation was founded as a Christian nation. That's what I was taught. That's what was in my that's what it was in my curriculum. And so you're like someone that's been raised in it, you're like, oh yeah, we were founded as a Christian nation, so this stuff all makes sense whether I agree with it or not.
Right.
Well, then you go back and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I remember a small...
And then you feel gaslit because you're like, I could swear.
Yeah.
I could swear I read that it was and it made sense. But when I go back to try and find that material and that information, it doesn't actually exist. So then you're sitting there like,
I feel betrayed. I know it was there, but now it's not.
Yeah. Like I could swear I saw it. I could swear I saw it somewhere on a page somewhere.
And so I'm at the point personally where I can't trust anything in my education.
No, you in particular.
Right. Yeah. I can't rely on anything I learned in school because we have discovered that there's so much of it that's wrong, misleading, not full. I had young earth creationist curriculum.
Yeah.
From kindergarten through graduation.
I did too, but I also was restricted to the National Geographic Channel, the Discovery Channel, the History Channel, and the Travel Channel. Those were the 4 television channels I could watch during the day while my mom slept because she worked 3rd shift. And so I was getting very well-rounded and conflicting information about a lot of stuff. And that helps initiate a deconstruction early. Because where I did get that curriculum, and then I got that curriculum.
I did not. I just got pure, straight propaganda.
Yeah.
And I believed it, and I was fully on board that I didn't need extra education, that I already knew what God's purpose was for me, so...
And then you met me, and I was a terrible influence.
Well, but I also met you well before.
I was a terrible influence well before you went to college.
Or didn't go to college, which is the point.
Yeah.
I did. Obviously, I said I went to college. I went back to college as an adult.
I was such a bad influence that when I did go to college and I fully deconstructed, we stopped talking for a period of time.
We did, because I was in a cult that told me to not associate with anybody that wasn't 100% on board with what I do in my life, which meant if they don't work here as well, don't hang out with them.
Yeah.
Because they're not fulfilling their greatest purpose.
Gotta make sure.
By being in this cult.
Gotta make sure it's just an echo chamber and nothing else. Only the echo chamber and nothing else. I remember being blown away by that as a kid, having a globe, like one of the, show my age, old analog globes, and taking my finger and running the latitude line and hitting Africa and being like, wait, what? You mean to tell me I'm lined up with Africa?
That's awesome. We should get a globe.
And then I did the whole bunny trail to find out how old the Appalachians were and all of that. And went into Pangea. Had to bring that to my mother and be like, explain this if the world is 6,000 years old. And had my mother go, okay, so maybe I don't think the world is 6,000 years old. So we're going to shelf that for right now.
She actually said that.
She did. She did really good. She was like, we're going to shelf the timeline for right now to talk about this. And I don't think she ever, anytime I would bring her stuff like that, she never insisted on a 6,000 year timeline. She would always insist that God did it, but she would never insist on that timeline. So if we needed to shelf the timeline in order to explain what I was looking at scientifically, she would do that, it would always come back to God did X though.
Which is,
God
I
broke
feel like
up
at least
Pangea.
a little bit healthier.
Yeah, God broke up Pangea.
Mm-hmm.
God was definitely responsible for the way the world looks today.
Mm-hmm.
And God was definitely responsible for Pangea existing. But we're going to shelf the timeline so that I can explain this to you in a way that doesn't create a massive cognitive dissonance, which it still did.
Right.
But I can, like, points for trying.
Yeah, because I did not get that. Everything was within the 6,000 years, inerrant word of God, history book. This is how it is. And if you have a scientific question and it doesn't line up with the Bible, then we're not gonna
touch it at all.
We're not gonna touch it because that science is man-made. And if it doesn't line up with the Bible, then it's discarded.
Ooh. That is hard.
Isn't that hard? So it was either, well, science is man-made and so we're not going to trust it, or God works in mysterious ways. We're not meant to know God's ways.
I wonder how much of that was her medical degree.
I mean, I can only imagine that most scientific people that or work in the medical field.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that was her medical degree. That she did not carry that science is a man-made thing.
It grounded her with that.
Yeah. She was very much science is God's too. Like, biology is God's, thermodynamics is God's. But I wonder how much of that grounded her down and away from that young earth, that strict young earth mentality.
I mean, that makes sense because she would have had more of a understanding on how science works
and what science is.
Yeah,
because I do remember, like, getting to that point in the school books and being like, them describing what science is and just being like, I don't think that's right. I feel like I heard a description on the Discovery Channel that explains it better than that. Which led to a lot of confusion and
and I would have
general confusion.
Yeah.
I got a lot of bad grades because I remember looking at the textbooks and going, I don't think that's how that's supposed to go.
And I would have been the opposite. Well, the TV is not agreeing with my textbook and or the Bible, so the TV is wrong. Like it was very quick to,
which I think is what my parents wanted, essentially, but I never gave them. But I have like 14 books worth of information over here that says that this party didn't even get started until like 150 years ago.
But those 40 books are wrong.
Right.
Because they're not God breathed.
Right.
And they're not the inerrant word of God. So none of the other books in this entire existence of this planet mean anything except.
Yeah. Never mind the fact that some of them predate evangelicalism. One of them predates Christianity. And I don't fully understand everything I read in it at 17. But I read it, and I understood that it was written before Christ was born. And was sitting there going, now I have more questions.
Well,
I went looking for answers and I ended up with a ton of questions. And I just kind of questioned my way out of my faith.